My light, my freaking light is falling. Hang on. You stay there. You. Okay. There we go. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome back
Yeah.
to Nothing But a Bob Thing. I'm Justin, existing in this rectangle.
And
And
I'm
that's
Nathan.
Nathan right there.
I'm
That's
Nathan.
Nathan.
In the other
He's
side.
over. He's to my right. I don't know where he exists in your world.
Yeah, it'll probably be to the right unless I zoom in on my face. I'm in control of that.
Oh, okay.
No one can see my name. Except you,
I don't
right?
think you have a lower third.
I just realized.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like on our video while we're doing this, it says my
Yes,
name.
it does.
And then it says your name.
I'm Sushi Jackknife
and it
14625796778.
Yeah, your random series of numbers.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So, but no one else can see that. So I do still have to introduce
You do.
myself.
You do. We do.
We need to figure that out. We need to
We
get
got to
rid of
have
that.
lower thirds.
I don't want to have to introduce
You know,
myself.
people, video's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That is very true. So we don't have Bob News today because I have something more important that I want you to do.
Okay. By the way, this is season 7, episode 2, Secluded Lake.
It doesn't matter. That's not
okay,
relevant.
all right,
right
now.
All right. So we talked about this a while ago. Ms. Kardashian, Kim Kardashian, she procreated with rapper / anti-Semite Kanye West.
Did. Yeah.
And they had a child named Northwest, and she is painting, and everyone keeps comparing her to Bob Ross for some reason.
Okay.
Not look wise, but painting wise.
I imagine she doesn't look much.
That would be
him.
weird.
Yeah.
No. She was okay. I'm trying to get the age here because this is relevant. So, 10 years old. Okay. So what we're gonna do today, before we get started, because I think this would be good for you, is I want you to rate this 10-year-old's painting. I want you to rate this.
Oh wow. Well, for the audio audience, this is it looks like a smallish canvas with a peak, a very very Bob style peak, and then we've got
a lake that looks a little secluded.
It does look a little secluded, and a couple of land masses with some trees and some purpley bush stuff, and it's signed north, and I believe there's a smiley face there.
Yeah. So anyway, so this is a 10-year-old.
Okay.
So I want you to
use the rubric.
Hold. Hold. Don't hold anything back.
Okay.
I want you to rate this painting.
Oh boy. Oh, this is going to be abysmal.
And remember, just remember, it's a child that you're
but
you're tearing apart right now.
But I won't hold back.
A child, though.
Yeah.
Right. So the first category, visual impact.
That's a 1.
It's a 1. So it has little or no impact on you.
Okay, that's not entirely fair. I'll give it. It doesn't have no impact on me.
Is it holding your attention?
Not really. Is that a 2?
Okay, that's a 2. So no, you're on a 1.
It's a 1.
Moving on. Interpretation and creativity.
Okay.
Would you say that it's far beyond the effort required?
No.
With great attention to detail. Okay, would you say it might have been outstanding with more effort?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
It's a 3,
right? Yeah, that's a 3. Composition and design.
Boy. She's gonna take a hit here.
It uses the knowledge of the elements and principles of design. By the way, I didn't read that. I have that memorized. That's how many fucking times I've said that. Would you say that it shows an awareness of it and it mostly filled the space?
I would say that, actually. I can see that she's used some design principles in there, like putting those trees in the foreground.
Okay, so Right, so there's 3. Um, craftsmanship.
Oh boy.
Would you say the design's
I
beautiful and
would not say
complete?
that, no.
Okay. Would you say it's pleasing and
I
partially
would not say
complete?
that, no. I wouldn't say it's pleasing.
Okay. Would you say it's fairly neat?
I would say it's fairly neat, yeah.
Alright, it's fairly neat. Alright. Um, and we can't really do criteria because we weren't promised anything
Yeah.
aside from well, I guess, would you say that this was, an artist?
Yeah, sure.
The caption
Yeah.
promises it's an
I
artist.
would say, yeah, that's an artist.
Okay,
Yeah.
so do we wanna say
I
4?
guess that's fair to give her full points on that, yeah.
Okay. So, let's see. 4, 7, 10, 14. Okay, so you gave her a
That's
70.
not bad.
No, I mean, I do want the record showing, though, however, that, Justin is over here, telling children that their efforts aren't enough and he wants more from
Well,
them.
that's
He's
correct.
squashing their artistic merits and, not allowing them to grow.
I'm just glad that Kim has to keep that in her house forever now. I can
That's
imagine
true.
that
She
throws off the design aesthetic.
imagine how many of those she has.
Oh god.
Like, that can't be the only one she's gotten.
No. No.
There's a whole Northwest gallery
Oh my
somewhere
god.
in their house.
If it goes the way it goes with Bob, which we'll hear about later, I mean, we could be talking 20,000 paintings, Nathan. 20,000. Yeah.
20,000. It's a
It's a
lot.
lot of
Too
paintings.
many.
Yes. Okay, so we
So
turn
there we
now
go.
to the episode proper.
Yes.
Here we are at the burgeoning birth of season 7. This is episode 2, everybody. It's called Secluded Lake. We will let the man himself take us in. It's a short intro.
Oh, welcome back. I'm glad you could join me today. You ready to do a fantastic painting with me? All right.
He's stoked.
He comes in
He is
hot.
coming in hot.
Like, he had too much energy from the
He
beginning.
seemed like he just had a nice
Um,
meal, a couple of cigarettes, cup of coffee. He's ready to go.
yeah, it's kind of a whole situation. We'll get into this later, but he's very excited to not be at his house, it seems.
Yeah.
So, maybe that's why he has so much energy?
It's a running
I'm not speaking out of
Yeah,
turn.
it's a running theme throughout this episode. And everyone's they're gonna see what we're saying as we
Right.
go here.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Original air date on this, by the way, because the death threats really have to stop. Um, Audience, please. October 9th, 1985.
Now be nice to Justin, he's but a
I am
man.
but
A man who ridicules children for their artistic efforts,
it's true.
he'll go after him. So,
I mean, that kid's gonna be needed to take down a peg probably in her life. I imagine.
and you're the one to do it?
This painting it's gonna be hard to stay on track, buddy. This
Oh, yeah.
painting is a landscape. It's a landscape, Nathan.
Landscape,
It's not a
landscape.
portrait landscape.
That's right, a double landscape.
It's a yes, landscape cubed, no squared. What
Mhm.
stands out to me is the construction of the sky. Um,
Yes. Um, I I was thinking the exact same thing. Um, so we start out with what was it, midnight black, I think he
I think
said?
so. There's a blue and black mixture, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah, uh, and phthalo blue,
right.
and do some weird little
Yeah,
swoopies.
these are like on the diagonal kinda, and he's leaving a lot of space in between, which we see why a moment or 2 later, where he goes back in and he puts in
Yeah,
some red wispies, um, building up bands of color.
yeah, he hold on.
Yeah,
There we go.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he had that, and then added a little bit more color into
Yes.
it. We got some oranges, and then some yellow.
Yes. And he
And
explained,
at that point, it's all
yes,
over.
I mean, it's striking. He explained that those other, I think it was the red, the sort of lavender. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The red kept the yellow from blending into the blue and the black, because then you would end up with
Hmm.
sort of green happening in there, and he didn't want the green.
Yeah, it's a very interesting. I mean, we've never done anything like
No,
this
no,
sky-wise,
absolutely.
as far as I can
Yeah.
remember. Um, maybe some different, like, similar colors, like more blues than that. He did that sort of method,
Yes.
but not yellow and
Yeah.
red.
Have you ever had Superman ice cream? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It
Mhm,
reminds me of
mhm.
Superman ice cream.
What is the flavor of Superman
I'm
ice
pretty sure it's
cream?
vanilla. I don't really.
Why why don't they come up with an actual
I
flavor?
I it tastes like Superman. Ooh, so powerful. Um,
It's people would like that. People would be
some
into
people
that.
would like that, sure, but yeah, I
Mm.
don't know what the flavor.
You know you wanna taste
Oh, of course
Superman.
we do.
Um,
Um, first time I had that, it blew my mind. By the way, so basically, we have a Superman ice cream sky, and I mean, I'll say this right at the top here. That's the thing that stood out the most to me about this whole painting.
yeah, I mean, I so we have a full episode to record here,
Yeah.
so this is probably a bad time to say this, but, like, everything after the sky is just a letdown.
Yeah.
It's fine, it's good.
Yes.
There's nothing I have to say that's bad about it,
Right.
um,
Neither do I.
but, like, the sky was really good, and then it's some other stuff he did.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the Bob we know and love. It's the layering. It's the
Yeah.
putting, layers of bushes and things in the background, building out
Mhm.
layers, building out trees, highlighting those trees.
You know, we forgot to discuss
Yeah.
this, and I didn't have you pull this clip, so we'll just have to talk
Okay.
about it. Um, at the beginning, talking about wet on wet,
Yes.
he talks about how he's got his canvas painted white and it's all
Oh yeah.
slippery. It feels like a weird way to describe it, and I don't like it.
Yeah, he's fond. It feels skeevy. He's fond of saying it's wet
Yeah.
and slick and ready to go.
Oh, it's
That's
just ready
that's
to
what he
go. There
loves
we
to
go.
say. That's what he loves to say. He says that majority of the episodes I've noticed at the
Mhm.
beginning.
Yeah.
Um,
You you have to think it's on purpose,
I
right?
I gotta think so at a certain point. You know?
Like, there is a part of Bob before the recording starts that he pulls someone over to the side and goes, "Hey, watch
Yeah.
this. I'm going to make it sound like I'm talking about a vagina."
And he did every single
Mhm.
time. He also had this to say about phthalo green, Nathan. Oh, I promise.
And I'll add a small amount of phthalo green.
Yes,
Let me repeat that. Small amount.
a little bit.
It is so strong, it'll turn your whole world green in a heartbeat.
There you go. You got to be careful with that phthalo green.
Y You don't want your whole world to turn green. Or maybe you do.
Maybe.
I don't know your business.
It's awesome.
I don't want
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I before we leave the sky, I have kind of a longer bit that I pulled where he's talking about the sky, and I think this might spark some additional conversation. So,
Okay.
think Bob thoughts
So I want
for a
this to be a
second.
very colorful but very soft sky. This is a sky that should make you
So
happy,
soft.
should bring good feelings to you. And a lot of times, if you're interested in selling paintings, of course, we're not interested in monetary gains, but if you should be, a lot of times paintings sell as much for color as for content. And these kind of colors will certainly brighten up a room, and they make people happy when they come in.
Totally.
Yeah, he's not
He's
wrong.
not wrong.
Um, do you think he's done this before? He's brought up how much a painting can sell
Yes.
for. Do you think he would be a little bit bummed out to find out that Walk in the Woods is selling for $10 million and he could have made $10 million off of
I
that painting?
honestly do. Yeah. I honestly I mean, he was pure in so many ways, but he was never a wealthy man, you know?
No, well, and it just comes up so
Yeah.
often. The if you want to make some money, maybe, and like it's come up enough that I'm like, so he's thinking about how he could have made money off of this
Yeah.
painting.
Yeah. Of course, it raises the question that Walking the Woods being worth $10 million, I mean,
Hmm.
he almost has to be dead to get that price, you know?
That's
So
true. That's
he's,
true. If
yeah.
I mean, it would have gotten a lot of
Yeah.
money if he were
Yeah.
alive, but I don't know that we're talking
I
10 million.
mean, yeah,
Also, in the art world, I mean, really, $10 million is like the equivalent of an extra value meal from
that is
McDonald's.
true. That is true.
As weird as that
Yeah, as
is.
weird as that is. I mean, even like artists you've never heard of selling stuff at a coffee shop, it's a couple $100 a lot of times,
Yeah.
and if you want
Yeah.
something that's like in the tens of dollars, it's about, postcard sized,
Mhm.
It's just the nature of the thing, I guess. I don't know.
Well, and I mean, you see all the things about auctions where,
Oh yeah.
someone will have a random Monet painting and it's like 500
Yeah.
million every
Oh
single
yeah.
time. It's an absurd amount of money.
Incredible. Incredible. So yeah, like we were saying, post Sky, I mean, everything kind of falls into place as normal. He definitely seems like he's riffing here to me. I'm not saying he didn't do a reference painting or anything, but this is one that I feel, he was pretty off the cuff. Um,
I think he's at least really good at
yeah.
acting in this episode.
So there's the layer of background, misty background, bushy tree stuff. There's some landmass.
Mhm.
One thing, yeah.
Oh, well, you misquoted what
Oh,
he
what did
painted
he
there.
paint there?
The little bushy
Yeah.
trees, if I'm not mistaken, were footy
Oh, the footy
hills.
hills. Yes. Yeah.
He was putting in footy
That is
hills.
correct. They are footy hills. Yeah, you're not wrong, my friend. Um, one thing he did to build out the trees, which is a little different than normal, is he had that like darker kind of lavendery color, purple
Mhm.
color, and he sort of built out the shadow of the trees. I'm talking about on the right side of the painting mostly.
Yeah.
Before he went back in and put in the trunks and then put in the additional foliage and other details. And I kind of like that. It kind of sets them, I don't know, it gives them additional depth, I would say. If I look at
Mhm.
it too hard, it actually looks a little strange, but if I sort of pull back from the painting, I like it. It doesn't bother me at all. It looks like it should be there.
Yeah, he like the trees and this land mass over
Yeah.
here that he
Yeah.
painted. He specifically pointed out the land was to add
Right.
depth,
Yes.
but the trees were there was a lot of depth with the
So
trees that
yes,
he
so
added.
much. Well, and I guess we sort of skipped
Um,
the water going in, which is only a basic water
yeah.
area for now, and that's going to get filled around really as we go.
It's your classic Bob water. He was painting the sky and went, "Now we have water."
Yes. Yeah.
And there it
That's one of
was.
those things that we learned early on is like sky and water are basically the same. You just make
Mhm.
sure that your lines are very straight with water.
That's
That's
it.
kind of
That's
it.
the
Yeah.
whole thing.
In theory, it makes
Um,
perfect sense and it sounds easy. In practice, it's actually very
right.
difficult.
Yeah. I know. That's it. That's it. That's the whole thing. Just do it. So, um, yeah. So that screenshot that I just put
Yeah,
up is like right around 10 minutes of the
sure.
episode, and it's pretty close to
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Um, he spends a lot of the episode uh what my father used to call dawdling along.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a thing anyone else has ever
I know what you
said,
mean.
but like this is close to
Yeah.
done. And then he spends like 20 more minutes painting. So he has a lot of time to talk about
Oh, I
his
love it.
life.
I love it. I love it. We're gonna get into that right after we beat the devil out of our brush for good old time's sake here.
Mhm.
Take the big brush and just beat the devil out of it. Just raise Cain.
Oh,
This is much better way of taking out your hostilities than going home and kicking the dog. You got a dog like I do, he'll kick back. Take off half your leg.
What kind of dog does he have?
he's got one of those French
I
kicking dogs.
And it kicks hard enough to take off half your leg? That seems unlikely.
He didn't mention his dog is actually an alligator. So
He's
he's from
from
Florida.
Florida. It could be he thinks it's a dog, but it turns out it's like a chupacabra or something. Like, you don't know what it is.
Half squirrel, half dog, 3/4 alligator. All rescue.
It's just a platypus. It was a platypus that someone in Florida, they snuck it into the United States and then let it go because they couldn't keep it as a pet.
And it naturally
And he
made
found it and
yeah.
has a
It
platypus.
gravitated to Florida where all weird shit goes.
That's it. That's the
Who
whole thing.
rescued who, Nathan? Who rescued who?
I think the platypus rescued me.
That is what people mean by those stickers, right? When they have those on
Yeah.
their car.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure I hope I'm not going to offend anybody listening when
Yeah.
I talk about
Yeah.
this. But I'm sure you've heard the chuckleheads who talk about rescuing their dog, but to sound very self-righteous. But really, sometimes I feel like they're the ones that rescued
Yeah.
me.
That's it, man.
No, they didn't. You still have to feed
Yeah.
them.
It's I had a professor in college in a psychology class who made a big impression on everybody because he argued in one of the first couple of days of class, he was like, "Your dog does not love you." And he made a really
This is a
yeah,
fact.
he made a really sound argument for why the dog doesn't really love you. They're just
Mhm.
using you for what they
Yeah,
need.
yeah, my dog respects me,
Yes.
um, m and that's our relationship.
Yeah.
He he wants me to pet him,
Absolutely.
um, but that he would not bite my leg off
No.
anyway.
No.
Um,
I can't see that happening. It would be very difficult for Reggie to take off a big chunk
oh,
of meat.
man, it would take so long. He'd be chewing for, hours.
Okay, so where are we even? I mean, most of the rest of my notes are just dominated by not things about the painting, but things that he said during the process of the
Yeah.
painting.
Well, okay, I'll summarize the rest of the
Okay,
painting real
sounds good.
quick. Um Okay, so we did the sky, we did the footy hills, we did some
Yes.
trees, we did more trees, we did land. We added some things around the trees. Then we made that look like a reflection in the water. Bada bing, bada boom, you have a
Yeah.
painting.
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty
Yeah.
much it. He didn't do it. If you want to go watch it, people listening, you
Yes.
should. It's a good
Yes.
episode. And there's actually a lot of technique he goes through. Um, But after the sky and the the footy hills, none of it's unique. It's all technique we've seen
Yeah,
before.
definitely. Yeah, if you I don't think anyone watches these in order except for us, but if you happen to be
Right.
doing that. Um, you'll see many of the things that you've seen many times before, just
Mhm.
executed well as usual,
Yeah. Yeah, it's really well done, and I have nothing bad to say about it at this point. We're not rating, so I'm not
No,
going to
no,
go
no,
into
we're not
detail.
there.
Um, but, like, you know, we've seen him paint reflections in the water. It's lost a little bit of its
Yeah,
mystery.
it's very cool. The first time you see it, you're
I've
blown away.
I've seen it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's dive into some Bob psychology, and this is another longer clip where we peer into the mind of Mr. Ross, if ever so briefly.
Unbelievable that you have that much power. But on this canvas, you do. Boy, when I go home, all I can say is yes, ma'am. But on this canvas, I can say anything. I can build anything. I can create a world that makes me happy. It's bright, it's shiny. There's nothing bad here. There's nothing but good things here. You listen to the news sometime and it really depresses you. Somebody got hurt, somebody else got shot or killed. You can go to your easel and you can make the kind of world that makes you happy. There's no violence. No one's hurt here. Everyone's happy. Everyone's happy. That's what I'm looking for. I spent half my life in the military. And I was a bad guy in the military. Boy, I had to yell and scream. And now I just enjoy life. And I do what makes me happy.
Yeah, it's a lot in there. There's
Alright,
a lot in
so,
there.
okay, there's a lot to break down here. Um, we're gonna start with the beginning part,
Yeah.
where he talks about when he goes home, all he can say is, "Yes,
Yes,
ma'am."
ma'am.
Um, but when he's painting, he can do whatever
He
he
could
wants.
say whatever he wants.
And what did Bob say before this episode, and why did he get in trouble?
I don't know. I mean, he's excuse the pun, but he's painting the picture that home life is, maybe a little bit struggle at the moment. I mean, we know,
It yeah,
things were not always great.
it was not a large leap from him to go, uh, "Boy, sometimes at home things are bad. Also, the world has murder." Like, he almost equated the 2.
He did. You're right. You're right. He's a beleaguered man.
I I'm I can't do what I want at home. People are getting shot. Things are bad.
And I
Um,
used to be in the military,
and and also, him being a bad guy in the military, he yelled at
Yeah,
people, is what he
right.
says. I mean, I don't wanna take that away from him. That's his journey. That's
Yes.
his
Yes.
journey he was
Yes.
on. There are worse people in the military than the guy who yelled at some people.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Most definitely. I mean, he was a drill sergeant, more or less, right? We found out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, he was in charge of people. He wasn't, like, drone striking
no.
civilians or anything like that.
No, he wasn't a sniper or anything,
Right.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I mean, or like the
yeah.
worst ever would be like the guy with the flamethrower in World War One. Oh my
Yeah.
god, the
Yeah.
guilt.
He didn't do
No.
that.
Like, oh. Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah, that
I'm just happy for him that he found this outlet, even if he had never become the world's most popular painter. At least he had this
mhm.
outlet where he could like get out. I mean, everyone needs that, in life.
That's true.
Everyone needs an outlet, because it's true. Your life as an adult is mostly compromises, right? Like if you unless you live alone or whatever. But even then,
Even
yeah,
then, though, you like, you get to a point, in life where you can't just do what you want to
no,
do all the
no,
time.
no.
Like, if you do, your doctor will tell you to stop.
Yeah, exactly. So
Um,
this he has there's so much for him freedom in the canvas. He says
Yeah.
power a lot, but I think it's also, I think it's freedom.
Yeah, I think that's more what he means than, like, I can do whatever I want. It's more, no one is telling me not to do this thing.
Right, right.
Um, which is, it's a good thing.
Yeah,
If it's a good reason to get into painting if anyone wants to get into
yeah,
painting.
or whatever
Um,
floats your boat.
unless you are a child, in which case Justin has no interest in you getting into painting.
That's
He
correct.
just will make fun of you
Yes.
and call you names like stupid art girl.
Yeah,
That's what he
that's what
said
I
earlier.
said.
Sorry, everyone didn't hear that.
Stupid
Um,
art girl. I mean, that's my freedom. It's my joy.
there
Yeah.
you go. He comes on the podcast to experience true freedom, like calling children
I'm a
names.
very nice
So
person
there we
in
go.
regular life, but on here I'm a goddamn savage. um yeah, so much to break down within there. Later on he's talking about how to be in nature and how to observe nature and talk to the trees, and even admits that maybe he's talked to the trees
See
before.
now, when you take up painting, also take up looking at nature. Spend some time spend some time out talking to a tree. I know it sounds crazy. And I don't mean you physically go out and talk to a tree, but make friends with a tree. See what makes a tree look the way it does. Just spend some time looking at trees. It'll pay you big dividends in your paintings. There. And if you want to talk to a tree, that's your business. You go right ahead. You talk to him if you want to.
Mhm.
I've been known to do that several times.
Yeah.
All right, so he doesn't say you have to talk to trees, but also he does talk to trees, and you should probably talk
Yeah.
to trees. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that was very circuitous. You're right. He's like, I mean, I don't
mhm,
do it, but I've done it. I've done it. Let's be
yeah.
honest.
What he meant was he doesn't exclusively do it. He doesn't talk to only trees or talk to all trees. He just talks to some trees sometimes.
Exactly.
Um,
You nailed it. You nailed it.
um, yeah, it's a. I'm looking at the painting now. He did spend, and this is a thing we didn't talk
Okay.
about, a lot of time on the shadowing of the
Oh,
trees,
yes.
um, which happened right after he said this. He was really into the trees right there, and uh, the shadows. I'm gonna share the finished
Okay.
product here. People don't start judging it yet because we're not
We're
done.
not.
Um, oh,
You are
good
so
lord,
you are
where
so
did it
prepared. I have to
go?
give it to you.
Am
I mean,
I?
we
Because
both.
it's not
Yeah, but like
working.
you tried. You get
I
points.
did
Yeah.
try. I did try.
Unlike Northwest, you get points
There
for
we go.
trying. There we go.
I I can't believe you're that mean to her. Um, yeah, this shadowing right here. Let's see if we can zoom in on that.
Wow.
Well, it's
Okay. I mean, I think
real
we can see. Yeah, I
pixelated,
think we
but
can see what you're talking about though. On the
um,
branches.
uh, I do think, yeah, I think there was more
Uh huh.
detail than normal on a bob tree. Um, uh, like there, he added branches, which he does all the
Yeah.
time. But he did spend a lot of time highlighting the branches and putting some shadows on this part here
Yes.
and over here. He was very in tune with the trees, probably from talking to them. Um,
it just
and it does show the effort in this
it
painting.
definitely does.
So,
Yeah. No, you're not wrong, and the efforts
I
are
mean, look
well
at
placed. I
that.
mean, zooming out is all the glory of it, right? I mean, these trees. It just occurred to me they remind me a little bit of the trees from the Lorax. A little bit. They got that
Yeah.
puffy thing happening in the foliage. It's not bad.
Yeah, there's a very unrealistic
Yes.
part of this painting,
Yes.
which, as we've discussed time and time again, we don't want it to be realistic.
No.
We want it to be fake.
Yes.
Like these trees over here are very impressionistic. He
Yes.
even talks about on these trees, um, don't it's not important to try to paint individual leaves. You just want some colors
That's right.
because it'll look like it from a distance.
Yeah, and he
Um,
spends a fair amount of time in this episode talking about his past as a traditional painter and how
mhm.
we've heard it before, but how he used to labor over a painting with a God, is it a single hair brush? Is that correct?
Yeah,
It's like the
yeah.
tiniest, thinnest brush possible, where you paint each individual leaf. And I mean, again, it goes back to that freedom thing. It must feel so joyous to be able just to let it rip like that, you know?
Yeah, just get in there to that wet, slippery canvas and
Speaking of that, there are a lot of those kind of wet, splooshy sounds in part of the episode too. There's a lot
mhm.
happening on the The canvas is getting saturated, and you can really hear it just coming through there.
Yeah, this is a heavy ASMR episode, I feel
Yeah,
like.
definitely.
I think this season is really where, like, all of the sound I don't know if they got new mics or
Yeah,
what, but
maybe.
it's picking up a lot of brush stuff and a lot of
Yeah.
noises from things he's
I bet
doing.
there were upgrades as they went along. At this point, the show is very successful, so I'm sure they could
Yeah.
justify additional production dollars, towards
Yeah,
things.
this is season
Yeah,
7, so it's been on the air for, like, 4 or 5
right,
months.
right.
Um,
um, let's see. I got another one here for you. All we do is happy, Nathan. That is all we do.
And all we
uh-huh.
do is happy. We have nothing but happy paintings. There. You know, one thing I've noticed as I travel across the country doing demonstrations and teaching classes, only nice people paint. Everybody I've ever met that's a painter,
That's
they're
not true.
super people.
And only nice.
Thomas
Oh
Kincaid.
yeah.
Thomas
No,
Kincaid.
no, he
Mm-mm.
is a
Mm-mm.
scuzzball. And
Thomas Kincaid, he liked to punch
yeah,
babies.
that's true.
That's a
That's
fact.
true. That's true.
So,
And
if you didn't know that,
not only does he criticize the artwork of tiny children, he just sets it on fire along with their entire houses.
in front of
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
yeah, he stands out in front of the burning house and just goes, "Look what you did. This is art. This is really art
And
right here."
then he goes, "You want some ice cream?" And they say, "Yeah." And he's like, "No, I'm not taking you for ice cream."
He says, "Do you want ice cream?" and then proceeds to eat ice cream in front of them.
Yeah, all we do is happy, Nathan. And maybe
Mhm.
all painters aren't nice people, but I think all the listeners to Nothing But a Bob Thing are nice people. They are nice people.
I mean, we haven't met any yet that aren't nice
True.
people.
Patient, nice, kind
Mhm.
humans.
Although, I mean,
Yeah.
statistically, there has to be one person who listens to this podcast that's just a real bag of crap. Just awful. We haven't met them,
No, no.
but there has to be
They
someone.
live. They're out there.
Um, yeah. So, if you're a real bag of crap, let us know, and
Yeah.
um, we'd like to know who you are, and then we can get a better idea of who is a good person listening and who is, a bag of
Just
crap.
email in. It's nothing, no G, but a Bob thing at gmail.com. And just write to me. I'm a bag of crap. Send. That's all you need
Yeah,
to do.
yeah.
That's all you need to do.
If you want to threaten Justin a little bit more while you do it, that's your prerogative.
We're just opening the door. We're
It's up to
starting
you.
the conversation. He said
Right,
one
right.
really outrageous thing, and I definitely want to cover this before we get into the rating. I don't know if you have anything else you'd like to go over. Okay.
No, no. In fact, my notes, uh, I put, I did time coding on my
Yeah.
notes, which was very
Yes.
prepared. The last note I took was at 11 minutes and 45 seconds because after that it was just like, yeah, he's
He's just,
painting. It's
yeah,
fine.
he's just going. Well, check this out. In terms of number of
I've
paintings,
painted probably 20,000 paintings or more, and I still get excited when I see this work.
20,000.
That's a lot. That's too many.
It is a lot, and I I I don't doubt him honestly. At the rate he
What?
goes,
Okay, so what's the how many minutes is it that it takes to perfect something
the
that is
10,000
the
hours.
theory? Is it
Yeah,
10,000 hours?
10,000
Okay.
hours.
So and he said 20,000
20,000
paintings.
paintings. Yeah.
So yeah, so and a half hour a painting.
That's
That
about
adds
right,
up.
isn't it?
That's why he's so good.
Yes.
He did 10,000 hours of
There you
painting.
go. Easy as that.
Uh, yeah,
Malcolm
proven.
Gladwell wins again.
Yeah. He didn't know that it was a provable thing, but we have a test case
There
right
we
here.
go.
So that's
Yeah,
good.
we got it. All right, should we get into the rating
Oh, I
for
suppose we
Secluded
can do
Lake?
that.
I will say here at the top, it
Secluded
is a
lake.
secluded lake. You cannot deny that.
We're not to criteria yet.
I just
So
wanted to.
maybe slow down.
I don't want
Um
to.
for those who are
The
new,
uninitiated.
we rate every Bob Ross painting in 5 categories, 4 points available in each category. Bonus points awarded as we see fit. No bonus points today. He did nothing deserving of that.
Correct.
Although I was tempted to give him half of one for his vulnerability, um, admitting how terrible his home life is.
Put, put
Tempted. We're not
a
going to do
half
it.
point for
But
vulnerability. Yeah, I could almost see us doing it, but not quite.
you want to give him a half vulnerability
I
point?
don't because it's only the outside of the onion that he gave us. He didn't peel back
Well,
any
and
layers.
we don't want to set a
No.
precedent that he thinks he can get a reward every single time he's a little bit vulnerable on the
Yeah,
show.
you're
No,
right.
stop
You're
that.
right. That's just going to lead to
Um,
madness.
that's it.
All right.
All right. So our first category
Yes.
is visual impact.
Visual impact. There we go. It's
So
nice. It is
there's
nice.
it, a 4 is it has the power to wow the viewer.
Yes.
A 3 is it has lasting impact. A 2 is it holds the viewer's attention. A 1 is little or no impact. It's a 4
Yeah, it's a 4.
for me.
Yeah.
The sky alone is a 4.
Yes. Yes, I have to agree. If it wasn't for the sky, I think we'd be looking at a 3, but the sky puts it over.
Yeah, the sky. I mean, I know we've talked about the sky ad nauseum at this
We
point,
have. Yeah.
but it's
It's
ridiculous.
pretty
It is
amazing.
a ridiculously good sky.
Yes.
Um, all right, interpretation and creativity.
Yes.
A 4 would be the design shows unique and creative interpretation, and the effort was far beyond that required. A 3 is it shows clear understanding and the ability to think outside the
Ooh.
box, and with more effort, it would have been
Yes.
outstanding. A 2 is it appears unfinished, and a 1 is it lacks attention to
Well, we
detail.
can go ahead and eliminate 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's to me it's a 4.
Yeah, to me it's also a 4. It's
Um,
pretty flawless.
yeah, well, and I mean, talking about the effort was far beyond that
Yeah.
required. Uh, like I was pointing out with the whole tree
Yeah,
situation, spent a lot of time on those
he
trees,
really
man.
did. And he had time to spare. Plenty of time to sign it. Plenty of time to put in additional sticks and whatnot. You
That's
know?
it.
Yeah.
Um, all right, composition and
Yes.
design. A 4 would be the design effectively filled the entire space, uh, shows and effectively utilizes knowledge of the elements and principles of design.
Yeah.
3 is an awareness of the
Okay.
elements and principles of
Uh,
design, and it mostly filled the
it's a
space.
it's
A
yeah.
2 is it partly filled the hold on.
Yeah.
And then 1 is, it's somewhat used. A 0 would be not on the rubric, but we could make it up if we
Oh,
wanted to.
okay. Would a 0 just be like one of those minimalist paintings with nothing except for white?
Yeah. Yeah.
I happen to like that, but that's it's neither here nor there.
I I would really like, actually, if one day we have one that's so bad that we're like, "It's a 0." We have
Yeah.
to make up our own category because it doesn't even reach a 1.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
4.
it's
It's a
another
4.
4. Absolutely.
Um, I feel a clean sweep
I
coming
do
along here.
too. Guest appearance by Jen, everybody.
Hello. Uh, craftsmanship.
Indeed.
A 4 would be, it demonstrates a mastery of skill, and the design is beautiful and complete. A 3 is it demonstrates skill and some understanding, and the design is pleasing and partially complete. A 2 is it's fairly neat, and a 1 is it's careless in creation.
Oh, that's another 4. I mean,
Yeah.
masterful is a good word to use in this one. Yeah.
Mhm. I would agree. Also, if we were going to do a 0 in that category, with 1 being it's a bit careless in
Yes.
creation, I think a 0 would just be it's a hate
Oh,
crime.
yeah.
Uh,
We're going back to Indian Girl here on that one. The most
yeah, so
offensive one.
that one's pretty
Yeah.
bad. Um, alright, so, all 4s so far. Criteria,
Yeah.
what were we
Well, that
promised?
we were gonna have a good time, and of course we did. And also that we were gonna get a secluded lake, and we certainly did. All criteria have been
Mhm.
met.
It's a 4.
The force. Oh,
100%.
nice job, Bob. I mean, last episode, I believe we ended up with a B minus, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Well, all right.
Yeah, he didn't start the season off too strong.
No,
Um,
no. The end of last season, we gave him 100. That was Blaze of Color. I think we both remember that one.
oh, I remember Blaze
And
of
then last
Color.
time was Winter Cabin, and we ended up giving him, yeah, an 82 and a half, so like a B minus. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was a fine
Yeah, it was a
painting.
totally passable painting, but it wasn't this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Passable.
Yeah.
Right.
This was something
Um,
more.
right. Hopefully that's what we get this
I
season.
hope so.
I don't know. I wanna know what
The next one is?
the title of the
Okay.
next one is.
Well, I know we have guest painters
Um,
coming too, so keep that in mind.
right. Evergreens at
Oh, that's
Sunset.
very evocative sounding. I
Yeah.
uh I hope it
Um,
lives up to the title. It sounds really
yeah, I
good.
don't know. It pulled up the YouTube video. I did not just watch
Good.
it, so I can't tell you what it looks
Good.
like.
Good for
Um,
you.
but hopefully we have more of this
I
Bob
hope so.
and less of first episode
Yeah,
Bob.
come on. What the hell?
And I want more stories. I want to know. I would like it to be an ongoing thing throughout the season where his home life just keeps coming up, and you can see things either gradually get worse or gradually get better as the
Yes.
season goes
Yes.
along. Either way,
Oh god. Oh.
these happy little trees over here, they never yell at you or uh,
Take all your
go
money.
sleep on their friend Cindy's
Yeah.
couch.
Yeah. Go back to their moms. They never do anything like that. Um yes. Well, until we meet again, everybody. Oh yeah, by the way, you can email us. I think I said that earlier. It's nothing, no
Yes.
G, but a Bob Thang, THANG, at gmail.com. That is
Yeah.
NOTHINBUTATHANG at gmail.com. That was actually really hard for me.
Could you spell Gmail for people also?
GMAIL.com. And they can
Very
X
good.
us or whatever the hell it is now.
Well, first off, it's
It's still
still
Twitter.
Twitter. I don't care what
Bullshit.
Elon calls it. Um, I still call it the Sears Tower in Chicago. I'm still going to call it Twitter.
Sounds good.
I'm not changing what I call
I like it.
things. So deal
Stuck
with
in the
it.
past.
Um, anyway, yeah, we're on there at Bob_thing
That's
pod.
right.
Talk to us. Let us know you're a bag of
That's
crap.
right. I would love to know if anyone out there is a big bag of crap. At
Yeah,
least,
I mean, okay, we're all bags of crap
certainly.
a
Yeah,
little
yeah, yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
I want to know. I don't want to know if you're like a little bag of crap. I want like you pushed a stroller into the street just to see what would happen.
Well,
Level
it
of
was an
bag of crap.
experiment. Yeah.
Right. You don't know. Like they say that the car breaks itself. You don't know if it does or not. It turns out it does. So that was good.
And then we were on the sidelines
Um
being like, I don't know. Is that a 4 or a 3 to you, Nathan, the way that came out?
it was good. The interpretation and creativity in that shove was fantastic. It was
Well,
amazing.
unless you're pushing babies into traffic, just remember there are no mistakes.
Just happy
All right.
accidents.
Good night, everybody.